and they're dancing and singing, and it was a big party, and I go, well, this is the way legislation should be.
256 days straight, we were in the news, national news, and we got a lot of attention.
This went nuts, and it was before the technology would make things go viral.
To change the state song? I mean, it's unheard of.
We got within 2 votes.
It went like a wildfire.
Are you ready? Here we go.
Comedian Will Durst, lottery winner Glenn Mitchell, and the first annual hamster drag race. It's all tonight, almost live. And now, here he is, Ross Schaefer.
There was a comedy boom kind of moving in Seattle and elsewhere, and I was approached by the program director at the time, and he said, you know, would you come and do a pilot for us? Because we want to do something, we need to fill up this time.
How about you? Would you like some of this beautiful fruitcake?
No, I hate fruitcake. I hate those things.
Ma'am, excuse me, would you like to have a little piece of fruitcake?
No, I don't like those green things.
And after the first season in 1984, my manager said, you know, I don't think they're really gonna, I don't know if they're going to pick you up or not.
I'm going to lift the gate at the same time, and then you pit crews can do anything you want to get your hamster down there to the finish line. On your marks. Get set. Go.
We called it Almost Live because we weren't taping it live, and the PI just picked up on it. We've seen the show. It's almost dead. And I go, oh, God, this is going to destroy us.
It was on Sunday night at 6 o'clock, and we were against Ken Schramm on Como, and Ken Schramm would just kick our ass every week.
Many people accept now that it is an aphrodisiac.
I was 29, just turning 30 years old, and I'd been producing Stories at King for the morning show. Suddenly somebody says there's going to be a comedy show, they're going to develop a comedy show. It's like, what?
Now, Jim McKenna has been responsible for getting all the unusual props and locations that we have had over the last 3 years.
And so we couldn't get any publicity from the station. We tried all kinds of things to try to get somebody to watch us. It was a dreadful thing.
We were just eking by and really needed a little kick, some boost that would make this thing work.
So if I don't make it in TV, I got this to fall back on.
We were trying to get some kind of advertising or marketing gimmick and we tried to get Sonny and Cher back together, for example.
Yes, but we need your help. We need you to write The Beat Goes On.
That went nowhere. Sonny was all about it. Cher didn't want to do it. And it kind of took off big for us when we got this idea. Let's change something in the state. Let's change the flower. Let's change the song. What can we do?
We think there's a better song from this area that should be the state song, and don't we, guys?
When it became Louie Louie, I remember we just all started laughing. And that just solidified the whole idea.
Folks, would you like to sing with the Kingsmen, Louie Louie? Let's take it away, guys. Here we go.
Let's hear you out there now. Let's go!
And that's when we got on this idea, why don't we change it to Louie Louie, which is a Northwest band that made that famous, the Kingsmen and the Wailers and Paul Revere and the Raiders from Idaho. And it just clicked.
We're in one of Seattle's most respected night spots, and people are here for wholesome entertainment and a chance to sign the Louie Louie petition.
We were being asked to do public appearances 4 times a week at schools, at luncheons, at Kiwanis Club, at JC's, and I would just treated it like this is a serious thing. We need your help. Support us. Take a button. Tell your friends.
We have this kooky song and this idea. we're young and dumb, and let's go see if we can do something with this thing.
There was Jim McKenna, who was one of the producers, said, look, I'll be in charge of that. He's a field producer. He said, let's get this going. Let's go to the state capitol. Let's pitch the Senate, see if that goes anywhere.
The Louie Louie gag quickly turned promotional gimmick. It made it to the state legislature at the prompting of Almost Live.
I received pages and pages of signatures petitioning that Washington have a state song named Louie Louie.
I think it would be a great opportunity for our young people to get thrust into learning a song relatively quickly that is not too difficult and has such great literary excellence as words like me catch a ship across the sea and me gotta go and things like that. You know.
Great pride that present Mr. Ross Schaefer, who is one of the driving forces behind Louie Louie.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I didn't know what to say. I've never addressed lawmakers before.
On behalf of the Wailers and the Kingsmen, two Northwest bands who brought this song to national recognition and sold more than 12 million copies, and our show, Almost Live, we applaud the courage and dedication of this Senate to have the nerve to present something like this before our body.
Question is the adoption of the resolution. Those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed will say no. No. The ayes appear to have it. The resolution is adopted.
Can I tell you about a controversy we had with that?
Just as this stunt was gaining momentum, there was a problem, and it was a big one. Washington already had a state song.
It's Washington, my home, wherever I may roam.
We do have a state song, and songwriter Helen Davis is proud of it.
Washington, my home. Well, of course I am. I don't want to, I get kind of defensive about it, and I don't mean to be, but I do.
Davis will be 80 years old soon.
See, I'm a little past the Louie Louie stage. Happy ever be.
She says Louie Louie is cute, but has nothing to do with the state of Washington. How could the lyric, "Me Gotta Go Now," compare with her tribute to our state?
From mountain peak to fields of wheat, Washington, my home.
She's still so real to me to just see her there, you know, where she got me started playing piano on that piano.
Land, we greet the day.
In that living room. With all those pillows, just little touches of Helen.
Tell me about your grandmother, Helen.
Helen was probably the most gregarious, happiest, most welcoming person I've ever met in my life. She wrote a great musical called Eliza and the Lumberjack, which is just what you think it is. It was fun for people, like the old bullwhacker. I'm an old bullwhacker from the Villapa Hills. Yeah, yeah, you betcha. And I yard tall timber in the lumber mills. Yeah, yeah, you betcha. I'm the best bullwhacker in the whole Northwest. My language may not be the best. My nose is red, so's my chest. Yeah, 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 you betcha.
Do you remember those days when all of a sudden there was talk of a new state song?
Oh, yeah. Initially when it started, Helen was so upset and threatened by it. It took us a couple of days to kind of let that soak in, and finally I said, Helen, this is quite possibly the greatest thing that ever happened to you and your song.
She had a quote where she said, well, the song is cute and it seems danceable, but great Scott, it's not a state song.
Plus it only has 3 chords.
And she, in the Spokane News Review, I believe their paper, said, if that Ross Schaefer wants to change the state song to Louie Louie, well, they might as well change the state flower to marijuana.
Did she say that?
I don't know, but it sounds like something she'd say.
And I said, Helen, we really appreciate your input here, but one campaign at a time for us.
The votes to throw out Helen Davis's anthem just weren't there. And the House of Representatives didn't only kill the Louie Louie push, it renewed support for Davis's anthem, inviting her to the Capitol here in Olympia to play in the rotunda.
Yeah, I was there at this.
With her grandson by her side. But Louie Louie would still have its day.
I, as governor of the state, do hereby proclaim April 12th as Louie Louie Day.
This is crazy. This is nuts.
I thought about 200 people would go. And our crew, that would make 212 people. And we get there, and people couldn't even find parking.
I'm guessing there were nearly 5,000 people gathered outside the rotunda that day, dressed in full Louie Louie regalia. Of course, Governor Gardner knew better than to pass up an opportunity like this.
And whereas I intend to get even with Ross Schaefer.
This had never been done before, I promise you. But because people were chanting Louie, 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 and I'm on the stage, I'm telling about the campaign, thanking everybody, that I held up my hand like this, which to the viewer is an L. And all the hands shot up, like Louie, 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 Louie. Now, of course, we know it's loser, but that was the first time that anybody had ever used that symbol in that way.
Those of us here are always going to be known, no matter what else we've done in our lives, as being the Louie Louie guys.
I was right up underneath of them and able to photograph all across all the bands. I went on later to study photojournalism and journalism, and so this was a historic event in my view, and so I wanted to be there recorded.
It was before internet, so it had to be telephone calls and word of mouth and letters sent around, postcards, that kind of thing. It happened mostly around the noon hour, so a lot of us could easily come from some of the state agencies in this area.
If you're in politics, you try to find where the parade's headed, and then you run to the head of it. And so that's what some of us were doing. I was finishing up a term on the Whatcom County Council, and I was in Olympia. It was packed, and I just remember being astounded and getting up in front of the group. And I think my first words were, "This could be the breakdown of civilization."
Whatcom County Commissioner Craig Cole was there too, with some pretty sensible advice.
To declare any new counties created within Washington, the first one should be called Louie Louie County. In fact, we think Lewis County should think about that right now.
How could you get that many people to turn out for a 3-chord repetitious song with words that nobody fully understood at one point?
Good old rock and roll.
And finally, Thurston County Commissioner George Barner and his band, the original Trendsetters, put some dignity into the event.
That's where the focus was, and the people were all around us.
You remember that?
Yeah, it was tight. It was tight. I mean, I saw people I hadn't seen for years.
Louie! Oh, we gotta go, baby!
41 years later, you're still smiling about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was just happiness. Everybody was happy.
Do you have any dance steps left in you? Can you give us some of that?
Well,
I can hold this for you.
I can.
And you remember the words?
Louie Louie?
Yeah. Do you sing much anymore?
I don't sing anymore. I really miss it. It was a lot of fun.
Here we go. It was a great experience for her, and it drew attention to her that she deserves. This is my country. God gave it to me. She and I had a laugh about it a couple of times. We couldn't have scripted this, could we, Helen?
Anyway, it's been a fun trip. And I hope it's something that will be here after I'm getting going. I hope it's here a long time.
The demand was so high
A destiny.
for ads on our show for cars and beer, and that's where we really got our momentum.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks, Ross.
We could get anybody we wanted, basically, who was coming through Seattle.
That's Ross. Hand me a Perrier Schaefer, ladies and gentlemen.
And that just added credibility. If I do a speaking event or a club date or whatever it might be, 2-3 people will come up and say, "Oh yeah, I remember that. we were at that rally, or, oh yeah, the Louie Louie thing, and I think we still got that button. You know, this is 40 years ago. I think if you can do anything that people remember, or it has some jog of the memory that, whatever happened to those little guys? What happened to those little guys is we all went on to have national careers. And it was because of Almost Live and King TV, who had the courage, the guts, to put on a local show. And it was remarkable.
Nobody thought that would be a legacy from that show. They play that thing during the 7th inning stretch, and nobody really knows why. It's been 40 years, and I marvel at that. A cheap publicity stunt now lasting 40 years.
I mean, this was amazing.
You were a county commissioner, you were a port commissioner for decades, and this may be what you're remembered for.
It's nice to know people enjoyed what I gave them. Good old rock and roll.
Let's go! Thank you all so very much, ladies and gentlemen.